Hello, welcome everybody to the VO Dojo 21 Questions. I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo here in Burbank, California, and we are so excited to welcome my friend and voiceover colleague, voiceover genius, Laila Berzins. So glad to have you
Hear
here.
ye, hear ye.
Yes, yes. Well, let's start in with our questions. What's your one word check-in for today? If you had to just distill this moment into the essence of this moment into one word, what would you say? What's your one word check-in for today?
My one word check-in, I hope I'm getting this right, but I would say peace. Only because lately I've been having a lot of really mundane anxiety dreams about like losing things and being not on time. So I would say peace because my dreams have been very chaotic lately and like everything with me is about like planning ahead so I don't get stressed. So
Right.
that's my mantra, my check-in for today is just
Uh,
peace. Everything is Everything is easy peasy as we can. Just keep telling myself that.
Good, good. Excellent, excellent. Where are you from?
Originally, I grew up in West Hartford, Connecticut.
Mhm.
I've lived there for most of my life, up until almost age 30, and then I moved to California. So I've been
Mhm.
out here for 10 years. Yeah.
Excellent. Where do you live in California?
Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita. A little further north, very quiet by the mountains, by
Yeah,
Magic Mountain Parkway and all that stuff.
horse country. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, good, good. What would we know your voice from?
Most people know me as Adeptus Shell from Genshin Impact. That's my most
Mhm.
popular character. There's also Mrs. Croaker from Disney's Amphibia, honey. Maluki and Hunter x Hunter. What is it? Rei Batsubami in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Demeter and Persephone in Hades, and
Mm,
Sophia Falcone in Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2.
just a
Other
few.
than, yeah, for character stuff. And for commercials and other things, I'm kind of you don't know who I am. Who am I? All over the place.
And any favorite campaigns that you've worked on?
Uh, JP Morgan Chase, Macy's. Oh boy, I've had a lot of fun ones over the years. But I like anything where I can be zany too, but I've had a lot of empathic ones. But I don't have off the top of my head, I would just say those are some
Yeah.
of, oh, and Square.
Mm,
Everything for Square, the payment app. That was a really fun one.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
That's
Citadel Credit Union is cool because they're a really fun client and they play the music in my cans while I'm listening. So I'm always,
We like them.
yeah, the warm and fun. The clients that are fun to work with are always the ones that have a really good sense of humor that you can kind of just
Yeah,
shoot the breeze with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And sometimes you can tell that from the specs. Like sometimes I read specs and I'm like, ooh, these are going to be fun people. These are
Yes,
all people.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
How long have you been doing voiceover?
15 years. Yeah, it's been a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you started in well, we'll talk about that in a second, but um you started before you moved to California?
Yeah, so what had happened was I went to school for my parents were like, get something practical, get like a degree in communications. I was like, yay, so I can work at Starbucks now. So I got the degree in communications and hoping that maybe I could work in something in media, maybe children's programming, maybe like a creative assistant at Nickelodeon. I had like dreams of something with media. And I also did a lot of theater, graduated from UConn. And then I kind of did a couple survival jobs, worked at a temp agency interviewing people for temp jobs, and then a health insurance job, which was just, oof, you only got paid by what you processed. So it was very stressful. And it was a maybe couple years, 2 or 3 years after I'd graduated college, a friend of my mom's who worked in radio told her about classes that I could take in New York. I started going to Edge Studios, to take initial classes, going in on the weekends, started listening to podcasts, um, started going on LinkedIn and just trying to network that way because at the time I had no agents, learned about pay to play sites, and sort of very slowly was kind of developing a foundation while I was on, doing my survival jobs and things like that. And then had the fortune of connecting with Roy Yokelson of
Mhm.
Antland Productions, who became kind of my mentor and created my first animation demo. And kind of that was the he sent that off to a few folks, and that was kind of the catalyst for me to get out. I'm jumping ahead, but for me to get out to LA, to have an opportunity to do some general auditions for Disney and things like that. So yeah, it's been a minute. I started studying in December 2008. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember very vividly the first time I met you was at a women in animation thing, and
Yes.
it was kind of in a moment when it was a little lully, and the event was less than spectacular, but you were amazing. I remember just
Aw.
meeting you and you're like, "Hi, I'm Lila and I'm here to do animation." And then it's been so cool to just know you all this time and then watch you just do it. Like
Aw,
she
thank
said she was
you.
gonna do it and she's done
I
it.
was a lady on a mission.
That
No,
is
it
what
was. It was
we're
like, let me
here
take all
for.
the workshops, let me get in front of everybody, let me do all the lunches, because
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
it
Could
was good.
totally understand like that is what is going to happen because you were so
Thanks.
present in
Well, I loved
the
meeting you too, because you were just a big ray of sunshine. As an empath, I just gravitate towards good energy. So yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally first rule of the dojo, know what you want, ask for it, people will give it to you if you allow. Boom.
That's right.
There it
That's
is. It's
right.
that easy.
That's
Um
why I've got $1 million check from the Gratitude Bank of the Universe on my monitor. I can cash it in whenever, I just have to get it first. The
Yeah,
account is
yeah.
unlimited abundance.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, so who's your current team? This is something we do in our booths alone, but
Hmm.
we never do it by ourselves. Who's your current team? And I'll let you interpret that as however you interpret that.
So in terms of my day to day, I have several coaches because I am a perfectionist, and I have trouble. I just feel like I'm better when I'm working with somebody. So I have kind of a few people, one person on retainer, and then two other people, two or three other people on standby that are coaches. They're directors slash fellow actors. So I'm not completely breaking the bank working with them on a daily basis. But I have a couple people in my team for that. And then of course I have my agents, which is Atlas Talent for LA, New York, and then like seven regionals. So
Mhm,
and then that's the majority of stuff, and then on repeat clients and things like that.
mhm.
So that keeps me very, very busy,
Yeah,
overall.
yeah. Good, good, good. And what is your setup here in your booth?
So I
What's
have this was a whisper booth that was made by my friend Mike Flannery, who's a rigger, stage rigger. But one of my friends uh, told me about how they made their own, and so basically, I gave the blueprints over to my friend, and he made this. So it's a custom made whisper booth basically,
Mhm,
and there's like a little ceiling buffer on the top, and but it's pretty long. It's got a decent. I think it's how many feet inside? I want to say it's at least 4 feet long,
mhm,
and at 2.5 feet wide or so.
mhm,
And then I've got my Sennheiser. I've got a Neumann if I need it. Got my big monitor in the booth, and a huge. You can't see them, but I have so many stuffed animals in the booth. You can't even. There's a whole audience. It's insane. They're everywhere. PreSonus audio box USB interface, and speakers, which I used to use much more often, but don't use as much now,
mhm.
because my downstairs neighbors will get mad at me. So, so they're mainly there for show and to keep the treasure trolls comfortable. But yeah, this is my little happy place.
Yay. Good, good, good. Um, let's see. So we talked a little bit about where you're from and how you got started. You mentioned um, Uncle Roy being a um, mentor to you.
Hmm.
Um, see, what do you think, what would you say were the three top ingredients in your success?
Oh my goodness. The first was support.
Mhm,
I had so many people in the community that helped me along the way. And I would not have been able to get to where I am now if I didn't have that, because you're
mhm.
literally just going out into this universe you know nothing about and being like, okay, let's see if let's see if I can figure out this maze. Definitely support was the first. I think second, would be my stubborn work ethic, because I'm very, very stubborn when I want something, and I'll just keep focusing on it. And like just keep trying to, like, eyes on the prize, keep the blinders on. And I think that you need that, especially when you move out to like LA or New York, the big cities where it's just so tough and you're gonna have so much rejection. I was just like, I don't care how long it takes. This is my goal now. This is who I am. This is, there is no plan B. This is my life. So that, and just putting in the work and trying to manage my time best I could and just focusing on everything I needed to do. And then I think the third thing would be mental health. All the support I have in my life for my own mental health. Being the daughter of two psychologists doesn't hurt, but also having just incredible, like I said, it goes back to support system, but having these resources like ongoing coaching, having workshops, social events that keep me grounded, and other things where I can just keep focused, because mental health is 50% of the battle, if not more. If you're not in the right headspace, you're not going to perform well. And that again goes back to why I work regularly with coaches, because I don't like to get stuck in my head. I like to just play in the sound box. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes I tease like our work environment is a small padded room. Like what
exactly.
do
We're
you want
literally
here?
like, and we have to maintain our sanity while we're in this.
And
However,
this is where we choose. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
We just did a great get to know VO with Percy Blythe, who does the Mindful VO podcast about mental wellness
Nice.
and how important. And that's so much like at the dojo, it's so much what we build everything on, that internal training, that it
Exactly.
really
Well,
is being
mindfulness
able
changes everything. Mindfulness and self-compassion has changed my life. It's changed my mom's life. I mean, she went from this worried, stressed out, always beating herself up type of person to this like calm, grounded. I was like, "Who are you? And what have you done with my mom? And how do I become like that?" So yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's so.
it's the
And then
fountain
if I
fountain.
had a fourth, it would be gratitude, because that's the only thing that
Mm,
gets me on the tough days is,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's helpful to hear like even when we're in this forever and things are going great, that there are tough days
Oh yeah,
and it took a while and you don't take anything for granted. So it's really helpful. Um,
definitely.
well, I don't know if you believe in this terminology, but what would you say was your big break? Is there a moment that you can go like, "Oh, that was my big break?"
Mhm. I would say, I feel like, at least for me anyway, getting my first Disney cartoon, getting to be a part of Disney's Amphibia, was what I considered when things started to shift. And that wasn't until year 9 of my career. So when I tell
Wow,
people,
9
like,
out of 15.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
didn't,
that's
I was still driving for Uber and Lyft. Maybe a year or so afterwards, I finally took the sticker off my car. Um, but I remember, uh, I was actually on an Uber ride. I dropped the passenger off. I checked an email and I was like, and it said, "You booked Mrs. Croker for Amphibia." And I freaked out. And it was kind of like that moment
Mm,
started to spur a lot of other things. I started booking things for Blizzard. I got a Batman movie. I got more, I started getting bigger clients, and it was kind of, uh, when I say it takes it takes a while,
mhm,
it was like, I feel like it was kind of, planting the seeds, and slowly that momentum built, and
mm,
then there was sort of the snowball effect. I guess that was when I felt
mhm,
like things started to shift in my career, to being this like unknown, to maybe I'm actually like in the world with my peers more, and
mhm,
as
mm.
things started to happen more, I was like, wow, it's like it's happening. I guess it was very surreal. It was a very surreal moment for me. I was definitely like crying in my little Honda Civic, or whatever, Nissan Altima. It was one of those. Forget at the time, and I was like, "Oh God, it's happening!"
You have a different car now?
Yeah, I have a Subaru Forester because I'm all about the comfort.
Of
Yep,
course.
yep, yep.
We approve.
Yes, yes. So my dad drives, and you know what? I like to be comfortable. I like to be cozy.
This is good. This is good. Um, what are you proudest of in your voiceover career?
Oh my goodness. Um, that is a good. Whew. Hmm. I think, I mean, other than getting to be a part of Disney and being in like a Batman movie and joining that franchise,
Mhm.
I think I'm more just grateful that I stuck it out. You
Mhm.
know, I'm proud that I did not let imposter syndrome and negative self-talk and other things get in my way. Um, in terms of my career, I feel like it's more just been proud of myself for continuing to take the steps needed to move forward because it's so hard when you're starting out and you're struggling and you're like, is this ever gonna happen,
Mhm.
to not give up. So I guess hope that's not a cop out answer, but that's at
No.
least how I feel
Mhm.
in terms of that. And then also obviously getting to be part of Genshin Impact and to be this character that to be Xiao and to now basically have a fan base and be able to travel the world, that's
Ah.
been a huge change in my life and something I'm very proud and excited of. And also that it's allowed me to help other people with their mental health because there are people that are struggling that see uh, parts of themselves in my characters,
Mm.
and so to be able to help people when they're struggling, whether it's through a video or there are people that have reached out to me directly, and I try to offer anything I can do to help people laugh or cry in a good way. It means the world to me. Anything that allows me to move somebody's soul,
Mm.
that's which is why I think we're actors,
Yeah.
to be a part of that space where we can create anything and move people. That's something I won't ever take for granted.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
getting a little verklempt.
that's amazing and wonderful. Where are your favorite places that you've gotten to travel through cons and being part of
Ooh, Hawaii.
mm,
I got to do Hawaii, Ireland, London. I'm going to Australia in September, so that's probably going to be my biggest one.
super cool.
Um, but yeah, I think those are the main ones that, just getting to go to, and Manchester. Manchester was very nice. I mean, I just to be able to get out of the country was phenomenal. But yeah, Hawaii was one of my favorites, I'm not gonna
I'm not gonna lie.
lie.
Um, so on the other side, the yin and the yang,
hmm
what's your biggest fear or challenge in your voiceover career? You've mentioned mentioned some things that
Yeah.
you, but what would you
I'd
say?
say in terms of what I think I mentioned this at some point this week to one of my friends. In terms of getting the day-to-day done, the auditions, the emails, the basic stuff, I'm very yes, like that's where I shine, like I can hyper focus on that. But in
Mm,
terms of all the little tiny things on my priorities list that take longer, and in terms of um wanting to have a more consistent, I know some people that have very consistent marketing and email plans. Mine's sort of once a month maybe to, and not a lot of direct searching and things like that. So I know I could be better at marketing overall. But I'm grateful that at least I have it's been long enough that I have regular clients regardless of that. So
right,
definitely
right, right.
it's like the ADD lament is like the main stuff.
Mm,
Yes. And then after that, wait, I have to do more? Like what?
right. Well,
So that's always been
I
tough.
think ADD in general, it's not unusual to find people in this realm that have
Yeah.
ADD. because it
Yeah, it's a
requires so much of
superpower
us.
for, getting stuff done because people are like, "No, it's for great for hyper focus." But
Mhm.
for all the little things, like if I'm so much more motivated when I'm somebody else is with me or we're working together or those sorts of things. When I'm on my own, I tend to procrastinate a lot. Like,
I know nothing
what?
of this.
Yeah, I joke that I procrastinate on life. There's things that like even like little things. I remember I got uh a a picture and it was like still sitting 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 on the floor because I still hadn't put it up yet. Things like that.
Right,
But
right.
something I'm working on. But at least, I'm trying to just focus on, like, as long as I can get the most important stuff done in my day, that's the key, and then everything else will fall into place, but I used
Mhm.
to constantly stress out about that. I'd be like, "I'm not doing enough. I'm never doing enough," and then now I'm just like, "I'm doing enough. I'm doing enough. If I do more, great," but it's hard because we always feel like that, especially with social media. We're like, "They're
Yeah,
doing this, and they're doing that," but that'll drive you crazy. So
yeah,
you're trying to just focus on my journey. But yeah, I
yeah.
definitely struggle with that. And as I mentioned before, just overthinking, second guessing myself, which is again why I kind of need uh not need, but feel more comfortable
There you go,
working
right,
more
framing it
regularly with
differently.
coaches. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's powerful, that's powerful. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I would say I'm an extroverted introvert in the sense
Mhm,
that I'm very much a homebody. I can be on my own or with like one other person, just chill. But when I'm like in my element with people that I love, that I really care about, like the voiceover get-togethers or like folks in like the theater world that I know, then I really just kind of come alive and become a social butterfly. But
mhm.
I have like a limit, like I have a fuse that burns out. And I definitely notice that as I get older, I don't want to go out to as many crazy events as I used to. I'm kind of like a couple, one thing a week, maybe if I'm good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But conventions, I absolutely love that. So I
Mm,
would say I'm very extroverted at conventions.
right. Yeah, yeah, I think we all have to
Yeah.
develop both sides of that, whichever
Exactly.
you like, then go sit in your
It's a
if you like
balance.
being
Yeah.
out, go sit in your booth by yourself. If you like sitting in your booth by yourself, you gotta go meet people, you gotta go get out there in the world, yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
let's see, I might have an inkling of this, but if you could do voiceover from anywhere in the world, where would it be? Like, where's your dream place to have your booth and set up?
Oh,
If you could live it anywhere in the
man. See, there's a part of me that feels like LA is home, even though I hate the traffic.
world.
But if I could, if, but I feel like, I mean, in my 20s, I was the happiest when I spent 5 months in New Zealand.
Mm,
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to be in like someplace in Europe, someplace where I could travel more. But have the option of coming back to the States if I got, run
mm,
down from or I needed to kind of balance that. But
mm,
yeah, I'd say maybe New Zealand, maybe someplace like I don't know, like I would say something cool like Spain
mm,
but yeah, I'm not sure. New Zealand was the only place that really like felt felt like maybe I could be out there for a while.
mm,
But I don't
mm.
know. Maybe it's still figuring that out. But I like LA. I like for
Good.
now, I'm good with
And
that.
and the good thing about voiceover is that you can do it from wherever you
You can
are,
d
so
Yeah, you can do it anywhere. Yeah.
absolutely. Good, good, good. What would you say
Yeah.
your
A beach house anywhere. I'll take a beach house wherever it's located in my
there you
in my fantasy
go.
location.
Order up.
Exactly.
Order up.
Yes, right?
First cafe, taking it
Especially the
in.
one on Grace and Frankie. If you've seen Grace and Frankie, that beach house was
Oh,
like to
yes,
die for.
yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. I'm sorry, I have to turn down my game. The waves are too loud. Yeah.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
seagulls are outside. They're eating my cheeseburger.
What would you say your VO motto is, if you have one, or you could make one up?
It's F yeah.
I love
It's just F
it.
yeah. Just go for it, you know? Just
Yeah.
screw the haters, just go jump in. And the other one that I say all the time is I'm playing in the sound box instead of the sandbox. You
Oh,
know, it's literally
that's
just
brilliant. Yeah.
I like to this is my happy place. This is where I get to be a kid. This
Yeah.
is where I get to explore different parts of my psyche. Like this is what it's about. Like this is why
Yeah.
we're actors, you know, we get to live in our imagination. We get to be other people. Um, can't beat that, you know.
Yeah. Love it. Love
Who
it.
wants
Love
to
it.
be normal? Who wants to do
What?
that? What?
Yeah. No, you kind of mentioned a sort of structure to your day, but how would you describe your daily voiceover practice or a typical voiceover day? What does that look like for you? I mean, if there is
Let's
a typical
yeah.
voiceover day, but
Yeah, no, I my days tend to be typically pretty similar. Usually I have I wake up and I go swimming or work out and do a good chunk of auditions in the morning, maybe an hour or two depending on what I have. Then I have
mhm,
a break where it's like appointments, take a little rest, get some other stuff done. And the afternoon is like chunk two. It's either I've got a session or a session and then a break and then auditions, but it's usually two chunks of a day, morning and afternoon, where I devote to auditions, and then everything else is sort of like appointments and work related stuff around that. And then again, the evening, another walk or workout or whatever, and wind down. I'm very much a creature of habit. After my dinner, I go for a walk and I gotta do a little
mhm.
Epsom salt bath and snuggle on into to onto the couch or in bed and watch something, you know. Yeah.
Good. Good, good, good. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
And last question, knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself at the beginning of your career?
Um, don't think that you have to change your personality to fit in. Don't think that you have to be less of your zany self, because trying to be somebody else or trying to be the version of yourself that you think the world wants you to be is not what the world wants you to be. And as soon as you are let go of that and jump in and be fearless, you will begin to figure out who you are and become the performer and the person that you want to be. Because so
Mm,
much of my life was just like, I'm not good enough, I'm defective, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like, I am enough. I would say you are enough. Yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic. One of the things we say here is voiceover is a great way to make a living, and it also becomes a way of life. And I love
Yeah.
that. It becomes a way for you to know who you are living your life.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely. Definitely.
fantastic. Yeah. So good, good, good. Well, Lila, thank you so much for joining us here and
Thank
sharing a
you.
little insight, getting some questions about you answered. And I think just hearing everyone's origin stories and that we're all in this together, no matter how long we've been doing it. It took a certain amount of time to get there, it took a certain amount of time to stay there, and we're
Yeah,
all doing the same thing every day. So, um, yeah, no matter where you are on your journey, we're all on it together. So,
exactly.
uh, we'll look forward to having you join us for Ask the Sensei coming up.
Yay.
And thanks so much. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Tish.
Take care.